going on?
I'm alive and well. Here, you remember that?
Look at it!
It ain't me.
You see how this is going, don't you? How I can find the person responsible for killing my fucking brother.
You must fucking kill me, old man. Got a daughter, yeah? Fucking fat cunt.
The film opens with a middle-aged man named Richie practicing shooting with a former mafia boss. Richie, a retired British man, now lives in Spain. Even though he has left his criminal past behind, it's clear he's not an ordinary person. His luxurious villa shows that he still enjoys a wealthy and comfortable lifestyle. That afternoon, while eating lunch with his daughter Carmen, Richie mentions that he misses his older brother Charlie, who still lives in the UK. The scene then shifts to Charlie, who is chatting with friends about Richie's past. At that moment, Richie calls him from Spain. During their conversation, the two brothers express how much they've missed each other. After the call ended, Charlie returned to his group of friends. Soon after, a woman named Lizzie, who knew Richie, came over and asked for his phone number. She admitted she had liked Richie for some time. Believing they might get along well, Charlie agreed to help and gave her Richie's number. Elsewhere in London, a couple named Aaron and Lauren were walking along a quiet street. But secretly, Aaron, the leader of a gang, planned to harm her. He led her into a narrow alley where several gang members were waiting. In that small space, the gang attacked Lauren and deliberately filmed everything that happened. One of the gang members, Dean, tried to stop the attack, but Aaron refused to let him. Just then, Charlie heard the noise coming from behind the bar and quickly ran to check. When he saw the gang about to hurt Lauren, he told her to run and shouted at the gang to stop. Instead of backing away, the gang started insulting Charlie. Angry, Charlie punched one of them. Enraged, Aaron ordered his men to kill him. A little later, Lizzie, who had just left the bar to find Charlie, was horrified to discover his body in a nearby alley. That night, she reported the incident to two detectives, Susan Taylor and John. Unfortunately, the two detectives couldn't arrest Aaron and his gang because there wasn't enough evidence. Lizzie hadn't witnessed the attack, she only saw the gang walking out of the alley where Charlie's body was later found. She later told Richie about his brother's death. Devastated by the news, Richie decided to return to the UK. The story continues with Detectives Susan and John confronting Aaron and his gang. They warn him that if they find enough evidence, everyone involved will be arrested and charged with Charlie's murder. But Aaron denied everything and walked away silently. As soon as the detectives left, he ordered his men to get rid of Lauren, the only witness who knew the truth. Knowing what Aaron planned to do, Dean secretly went to Lauren's house to warn her. He told her that Aaron was coming and that she should stay inside for her safety. Later, Aaron and a few gang members showed up at her door. Speaking through a small gap, Aaron threatened her, telling her to stay silent and not talk to the police about Charlie's murder. He also warned that if she did, both she and her mother would be killed. Meanwhile, Richie arrived in the UK and quickly met up with Roy, one of his most trusted allies. After that, he went to Lizzie's house to find out more about what had happened to Charlie. Lizzie told him she hadn't seen the attack herself, but believed Charlie was killed by a gang known for causing trouble in London. Richie and Roy then went to the place where Charlie had been murdered. There, they met Detectives Susan and John, who were still investigating the case. Knowing Richie was a former mafia boss, Susan warned him to stay away and let the police handle the investigation. Although reluctant, Richie agreed in front of the detectives to let the police take care of the case, then walked away. That evening at the bar, Lizzie told Richie she had found a video showing Aaron and his gang harassing Lauren. She believed the video might be connected to Charlie's death. Since she knew Lauren personally, Lizzie gave Richie the address of the place where Lauren worked. Later, Richie went to meet Lauren and asked her what had happened to his brother. Grateful to Charlie, Lauren eventually agreed to tell him everything. They sat together in a quiet place near her workplace. Lauren revealed that Charlie was killed by a local gang led by Aaron. However, neither of them knew that DK, a girl from Aaron's gang, had seen Lauren talking to someone about the incident. DK returned to the gang's hideout and told Aaron that Lauren had told everything to a man named Richie. Believing Richie was just an ordinary middle-aged man, Aaron didn't take the warning seriously. The scene then moves to Charlie's funeral, where Richie and several of his former mafia associates gathered to pay their respects. Soon after, an older man named Arthur arrived. Richie joked that Arthur was too old to be there and should go home. Feeling slightly offended, Arthur replied that he was the only person who had ever come close to beating Richie. His comment made everyone laugh. Richie then thanked Arthur for coming, saying it was because of him that the old crew could reunite. After the funeral, Richie visited an old friend, Jack, a former police chief living in a small, modest home. Richie asked Jack to help investigate Aaron and his gang. In return, Richie promised to share some of his wealth so Jack could have a more comfortable retirement. A few days later, Jack gave Richie information about several gang members, but he couldn't find anything on Aaron, the leader. Using the information from Jack, Richie told his old friends to capture 2 gang members, Leroy and Ed. When they were caught, Leroy and Ed mocked Richie and his crew, calling them a bunch of old men. Leroy and Ed refused to answer any questions and kept shouting, demanding to know where Aaron was. Instead of cooperating, they insulted Richie and even threatened his group. But Richie and his crew just laughed. It was obvious that Leroy and Ed had no idea who they were really dealing with. When Ed began insulting Charlie, Richie lost his temper and became visibly furious. Following Richie's orders, Arthur took a nail and hammer from his bag and drove the nail through the back of Ed's hand. Then he used a power drill on Ed's leg, causing him to scream in pain. Seeing his friend tortured so badly, Leroy panicked. Afraid he would be next, he quickly agreed to help Richie and promised to lure Aaron out of hiding. Although Richie's friends were still doubtful, Richie surprised everyone by trusting Leroy and letting him go. But as soon as he was freed, Leroy suddenly pulled out a gun and tried to shoot Richie. Before he could fire, Richie reacted quickly and shot him dead. Calmly, Richie explained that he had never really trusted Leroy, he had only held back because Leroy seemed weak. His comment made everyone in the group laugh. Moments later, just as they were about to question Ed again, they discovered he had died from the torture. Elsewhere, Aaron was furious when he learned that 2 of his men were missing. He suspected a rival gang was responsible. The next day, Richie met Lauren again and asked her to help him find the rest of Aaron's gang. Lauren told Richie that one of the gang members, JB, was recently spotted in a parking lot. Feeling guilty for involving her, Richie asked for her phone number. Before she could reply, Detective Susan suddenly appeared. She stepped in to protect Lauren, who was actually her daughter. Susan firmly warned Richie to keep her daughter out of this dangerous situation. The scene then moves to the parking lot. JB saw Arthur standing alone and assumed he was just an old man who would be easy to scare. But when Arthur suddenly drew a sword, JB panicked. He tried to ride his bike away as fast as he could. Before he could get away, a car pulled up in front of him, causing him to crash. The car was driven by someone from Richie's crew. Arthur had been standing in the parking lot as bait to trap JB. When JB fell for it, Richie's team caught him, tied him up, and hung him inside an abandoned building. Richie asked JB where Aaron was hiding, but JB, full of arrogance, refused to answer. Instead, he insulted Charlie, cruelly saying he looked like a dumb dog while being beaten. Hearing this, Richie lost control and beat JB to death in a rage. Afterward, Richie's old illness flared up, and he had to go to the hospital. As he slowly recovered, he began planning how to lure Aaron out of hiding. A few days later, Aaron and his gang were preparing their weapons, expecting an attack from a rival gang. Suddenly, Lauren appeared at their hideout to speak with Aaron. She told him that all the missing gang members had been captured and killed by Richie. She also said that Richie was now in the hospital. While they were talking, Lauren's phone rang. It was her mother calling. Aaron told her to answer so Detective Susan wouldn't suspect anything. After Lauren gave him all the information, Aaron and his gang hurried to the hospital, taking Lauren with them as a hostage. Once inside, Aaron ordered his men to split up and search every room for Richie. Not long after, 2 of Aaron's men found a hospital room and fired at the bed, thinking Richie was inside. But it was a trap. Richie and his team were hiding behind them and attacked by surprise. At that moment, Aaron was in the elevator. When he heard the gunfire, he instantly knew that Richie had figured out his plan. Aaron became suspicious of Lauren and grabbed her phone, discovering she had been helping Richie trap him and his gang. Angry at her betrayal, he tried to kill her. Luckily, Dean arrived just in time and tackled Aaron, saving Lauren. Moments later, a fierce gunfight erupted between Richie's crew and Aaron's gang. Seeing how dangerous the situation had become, Lauren quickly called her mother, Susan, and begged her to come to the hospital. Meanwhile, Richie and his team were taking out Aaron's gang members one by one. During the fight, one of Richie's men was shot in the arm and had to be rushed to the emergency room. Dean then tried to get Lauren out of the hospital to keep her safe. Richie and his team arrived and saw Aaron ready to shoot. Suddenly, Dean attacked Aaron from behind, throwing his plan into chaos. During the struggle, Aaron's gun slid across the floor toward Richie. Richie rushed to grab it, but had trouble reloading in time. Aaron stood in front of Richie, pulled out another gun, and aimed at him. But the gun was empty, he had no bullets and couldn't fire. Just then, Susan arrived with police officers. Seeing Aaron about to attack Richie, they opened fire and stopped him. After everything was over, Richie got treatment at the hospital. Susan visited him and thanked him for saving her daughter's life. A few days later, Richie threw a big party at a club. There, he saw Lizzie again and admitted that she had feelings for him. When Richie invited her to go to Spain with him, Lizzie politely refused, saying she didn't want to leave England. At the end of the film, Richie's friend said a heartfelt goodbye as he prepared to return to Spain, especially after everything they had done together to avenge Charlie's death. Suddenly, Richie appeared behind them, surprising everyone. They had thought he had already left for Spain on a private helicopter. Richie told them he had changed his mind. He wanted to stay and keep fighting alongside the friends he cared about most. The film ends with Richie and his crew preparing to fight crime in London, trying to make up for their past mistakes. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button. If you didn't, go ahead and click dislike twice just to be sure. Be sure to watch the full movie and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more exciting content.